Hello friends, welcome to or back to my channel. My name's Haley and today we're going to be doing my October TBR. So I laugh because I do struggle a little bit with TBRs. So my September TBR was 17 books long and I read 3 of them, which is fine. It's fine. But today we are here with another extremely ambitious TBR for October. And some of the stuff is going to be carrying over from September because I still want to read it. I still have every intention of reading it. And there's going to be some new stuff that gets added to the mix. The first set of books that I want to discuss are the books that I wanted to read for my October 1st new release reading vlog. So the day that I'm filming this is October 1st, and clearly I have not read these books, so I will not be releasing this video before these books get published. However, this is a video that I am still interested in making, and I still think it can be fun to do some October new releases in a vlog. And so I'm going to be reading 4 books for that vlog. So the 4 books that I plan on reading for that are The Sequel, A Song to Drown Rivers, Some Like It Cold, and The Glass Girl. And so the first book, The Sequel, this is a follow-up to the book called The Plot. And in The Plot, we are following a teacher he's a writing teacher and he's just kind of mad about his life. And one of his students has this great story and he's kind of a jerk about it. And he's like, I don't need your help because my plot is so good. And then a couple of years later, this teacher finds out that this student died and that he never published the book with the plot. And so he steals the plot and publishes the book and becomes a super famous author. But then somebody is kind of threatening him online, you stole this, and we go from there. So that is the plot, and The Sequel does pick up right after the events of the plot. So I really don't want to say what The Sequel is about. However, I will still discuss just general vibes and feelings about the book without spoiling the plot of The Sequel, which is the sequel to the plot, because that's not confusing at all. The next book that I would like to read is A Song to Drown Rivers, and this book sounds extremely interesting. It is a little bit outside of my typical taste, but I am excited to read it. So this is a historical fantasy set in China, and in this day and age in China, the thing that women do is they marry well off, and that is the best thing that they can do for themselves. And so our main character, she is very beautiful, and so she is approached by some guy and he's like, we are going to make your beauty a weapon. And so he kind of trains her to be a spy, and she is going to go to this opposing kingdom and try to infiltrate their kingdom, I guess, and get close to the king and kind of just learn their secrets so that her people can take down these other people. And it seems very interesting. I do think it sounds exciting, and the little tagline on Goodreads says, A Song to Drown Rivers is an epic historical fantasy about womanhood, war, sacrifice, and love against all odds. So yeah, it sounds really exciting, and I'm excited to read that one. And then the next one is Some Like It Cold, and this book I believe is YA, and it is about this girl who returns to her small town to say goodbye to everyone in it because she is trying to move on and move away from this small town. And then apparently it turns into a bit of a romance, and so she gets herself in a sticky situation. This book was sent to me. It was here, we want you to read this book. And so I definitely want to make sure to check this one out and give them feedback, but I am excited to read this one. And then the last book is The Glass Girl by Kathleen Glasgow. And I will not lie, I did not read the synopsis of this book before I requested it, and I thought it was a thriller. Some of her other books I believe are thrillers. Maybe I'm just wrong and her books aren't thrillers, but this one is more just a contemporary fiction story about a girl. She is 15 years old and she just kind of feels like she's not good enough, and everyone in her family wants different things from her, and the only person she felt that she could really rely on to be there for her and support her was her grandmother. And then her grandmother passes away, and after this happens she turns to alcohol, and so we are following this story unfold from there. I am definitely interested to read this one now that I know what it's about. I think it will be kind of a hard read because like I teach 15-year-olds and I'm with them on a daily basis. So I definitely think it will be kind of challenging to read this book, and I feel like I'll be picturing my students, and I think it will definitely challenge me, but in a good way. And I think that this is a very real scenario that could happen to anyone. You never really know what kids are getting into. And so I definitely am interested in this one, and just to see kind of like how the whole situation is handled and what people do, and just, yeah, how it goes. So those are the 4 books I would like to read for my October new release vlog. Another vlog that I'm still working on is my Percy Jackson reading vlog. So I'm almost done with book 3, and then I'll have book 4 and book 5, and then the 2 newer books in the new series, book 6 and 7. My boyfriend read book 7 without even telling me, and I'm still salty about it, but it's fine. It's fine. He said it was good, so I'm looking forward to it. So I am still reading that vlog, so you'll have that to look forward to. Another exciting reading vlog is I'm finally going to be reading ACOTAR. And if you don't know what ACOTAR is about, neither do I really. It is about Feyre. I think that's how you say her name, Feyre. And in the beginning of the book, she kills a wolf, and then it turns out that the wolf was actually a fae. And so then she comes and she gets taken by a different fae, and they're like, you killed one of us. You have to come to Fae. I don't know how to say it. I don't know if it's like fairy or like fairy. I like the land where they live. I really don't know. I feel so silly, but anywho, I'm gonna be reading that this month, and I'm gonna be vlogging my experience with spoilers because I feel like everyone and their mother has read this book at this point, and if you haven't, then I guess just don't watch. But I am gonna be vlogging that, and I will be listening to that on the graphic audio version, which essentially it just has a bunch of sound effects to go with what is happening in the story, and has a different narrator for every single character. So that is a fun little addition to my first ACOTAR reading experience. That being said, I know these books are kind of spicy, so it might get a little weird. I don't really know. I don't really know. I feel like it's gonna get weird. I am also working on 2 other reading vlogs for 2 different series. And right now, I kind of want to keep those a secret, but just know that I'm also working on 2 other reading vlogs for 2 series. One of them, I have all on my Kindle, so I can read those. And then the other one, I am listening to the audio version, so I will be waiting for holds. So that one's probably going to take a little bit longer, not that you even know what they are. But I do have other like vlogs that I'm working on, so those might get thrown in this month. I'm really not sure. And then there are a couple more October releases that I have from NetGalley that I would like to get to this month. The first one is Double Apex, and this one comes out on October 8th. And this is an F1 romance, which I have never read before. So this book follows our female main character. She is like a engineer. I guess she like helps with building the cars and designing them. And then the guy is a racer. And they kind of start having a little bit of an affair to help them bond and butt heads less, but then where it gets out and it's a little bit scandalous. So that is that. I'm not sure, like I don't really love relationships that start with hooking up, but we'll see. I don't really know how it's gonna go. And then also on October 8th, we have The Love Elixir of Augusta Stern. And I actually picked this as my book of the month last month, but when I was able to get the audio, I was super pumped because I just get through audiobooks quicker. And this book follows Augusta, and she's 80 now, and she's moving to this retirement community, and she comes across someone from her past. And so I'm not sure how the story is told, whether it's like all in the present or it goes back and forth or what. But in her past, in the 20s, her dad was like the main pharmacist, and then her aunt was kind of like a, what's the word, like a more of like an apothecary, and she would give kind of like random, like not medical remedies to situations. And so Augusta was pretty torn between like her dad's like pharmaceutical like proven ways and her aunt's like more whimsical ways. And then I believe something goes wrong with one of her aunt's ways and kind of just like destroys her life, and like she's still kind of like reckoning with that in her 80s when she's like moving into this retirement home. So we will see how that one goes. It sounds very interesting. I am interested in the whole like pharmacy apothecary situation, and we love a good old lady main character. I do. I love an old lady main character. The next one that I have is called Playmaker, and this one comes out on October 22nd. And this one is based on like an internet little book, so we'll see how that goes. But this is about a football player who is in college, and he's like a NFL bound superstar, and he kind of starts having this fling with this girl on spring break, and she had previously had a crush on him, but then she realized he was kind of a player, and she was like, no, I'm not into that. But then they start having this fling, and then obviously it turns into feelings, and then surprise, it's her brother's best friend. So we have brother's best friend trope here, and then it's like the will they, won't they, what's gonna happen situation. So that is another book that I have. And then the last release that I have for October, on October 29th, is a poetry collection by Amanda Lovelace that I cannot remember the title of right now, but I'll put it right here. And I have quite a few of her poetry collections, but I've honestly never read any of them. I'm not really super into poetry, but I think I could be. I used to like it when I was younger, so this is just something that I thought would be fun, and I have some for other books, and I was like, okay, if I like this one, I can read more. So that is going to be all for the October TBR. I say that's going to be all, like I didn't just say like 15 plus books, but nonetheless, tell me what you guys plan on reading in October. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you think. Like this video and subscribe while you're here. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Love you.